Welcome, dear listeners, to History with Herodotus, where we embark on a journey through the annals of time, unraveling the mysteries of our collective past. Today, we set our sights on a most fascinating topic: the origins and legacy of the British Empire. As we delve into this intricate tale, you shall be transported to the windswept shores of the British Isles, where the seeds of a mighty empire take hold. The earliest stirrings of British history date back to the Mesolithic era, around 8000 BC, when hunter-gatherer communities first inhabited the islands. As we traverse the landscape of time, we find the Bronze Age, which dawned around 2100 BC, bringing with it the construction of monumental structures like Stonehenge, a testament to the ingenuity and craftsmanship of Britain's ancient inhabitants. The Iron Age, spanning from approximately 800 BC to 100 AD, witnessed the rise of Celtic tribes, whose distinct culture and traditions would leave an indelible mark on the island's heritage. The Roman conquest of Britain in 43 AD marked a significant turning point in the island's history. Under the leadership of Emperor Claudius, Roman legions invaded the shores of Britain, establishing a province that would endure for nearly 4 centuries. The Romans introduced their language, law, and architecture, leaving behind a legacy that can still be seen in the ruins of cities like Londinium, Camulodunum, and Verulamium. The construction of Hadrian's Wall, begun in 122 AD, stands as a testament to the engineering prowess of the Roman Empire. As the Roman Empire waned, Britain was invaded by various Germanic tribes, including the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. These migrations, which occurred from the 5th to the 7th centuries, would eventually give rise to the Anglo-Saxon culture that would dominate the island for centuries to come. The epic poem Beowulf, composed during this period, provides a glimpse into the values and traditions of Anglo-Saxon society, with its heroic tales of battles against monsters and dragons. One of the most significant figures of this era was King Alfred of Wessex, who ruled from 871 to 899. Alfred is remembered for his military victories against the Viking invasions, as well as his efforts to promote education, literature, and the arts. He commissioned the translation of many Latin works into Anglo-Saxon, including the writings of Bede and Caedmon, which helped to spread knowledge and learning throughout the kingdom. His legacy can be seen in the establishment of the Danelaw, a region in eastern England that was under Viking control, and the eventual unification of the various Anglo-Saxon kingdoms under a single ruler. As we navigate the complex web of alliances and rivalries that defined early British history, we begin to discern the outlines of a nascent empire. The threads of Roman legacy, Anglo-Saxon culture, and Viking influence are woven together into a tapestry of breathtaking complexity. And it is here, in this fertile soil, that the roots of the British Empire take hold. The earliest stirrings of imperial ambition can be seen in the conquests of King Athelstan, who united the various Anglo-Saxon kingdoms and launched military campaigns against the Vikings and the Celts. The seeds sown in this period would eventually bloom into a global powerhouse, with a legacy that would be felt from the Americas to India and from Africa to Asia. As we pause to reflect on these earliest stirrings of imperial ambition, we find ourselves poised on the cusp of a new era, one that will witness the rise of a mighty empire, shaped by the interactions of monarchs, merchants, and explorers. Join me, dear listeners, as we venture forth into this captivating chapter in the saga of the British Empire, where we shall explore the formative years of this imperial powerhouse, marked by grand achievements, far-reaching discoveries, and profound transformations that will forever alter the trajectory of human civilization. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, as we continue our journey through the annals of time, unraveling the mysteries of the British Empire's ascendance to global prominence. As we delve into this fascinating chapter in the saga of the British Empire, we notice the emergence of key figures who would play a pivotal role in shaping the course of history. One such figure was Queen Elizabeth I, who ruled from 1558 to 1603. Her reign is often referred to as the Golden Age of English history, marked by significant cultural, literary, and economic advancements. The establishment of the Church of England, with the monarch as its head, helped to consolidate power and pave the way for future imperial expansion. The late 16th century saw the dawn of British exploration and colonization, with adventurers like Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh leading the charge. Their voyages of discovery not only expanded Britain's knowledge of the world, but also laid the groundwork for the establishment of colonies in North America, the Caribbean, and beyond. The founding of Jamestown in 1607, the first permanent English settlement in what is now the United States, marked a significant milestone in this process. As British colonization gained momentum, so too did the growth of trade and commerce. The establishment of the East India Company in 1600, with its monopoly on trade with the East Indies, would become a powerful force in shaping Britain's imperial destiny. The company's agents and traders played a crucial role in expanding British influence across Asia, from India to China, and helped to establish a network of trading posts, forts, and colonies that would eventually span the globe. One of the most significant events of this period was the Glorious Revolution of 1688, which saw the overthrow of King James II and the ascension of William III and Mary III to the throne. This bloodless revolution had far-reaching consequences, including the establishment of constitutional monarchy and the Bill of Rights, which enshrined certain fundamental freedoms and limitations on the power of the monarch. As we navigate this complex web of events, we begin to discern the outlines of a nascent empire, driven by a potent mix of commercial ambition, strategic calculation, and ideological conviction. The seeds sown in this period would eventually bloom into a global powerhouse, with a legacy that would be felt from the Americas to India, and from Africa to Asia. The 18th century saw the rise of British industry, with the development of new technologies and manufacturing techniques that helped to fuel economic growth and imperial expansion. The construction of canals, roads, and railways facilitated the movement of goods and people, while the growth of cities like Manchester, Birmingham, and Liverpool created new centers of commerce and industry. As we explore this captivating chapter in the saga of the British Empire, we are struck by the grand achievements, far-reaching discoveries, and profound transformations that shaped the course of human civilization. From the establishment of colonies and trading posts to the growth of industry and commerce, we see a complex interplay of forces that would eventually give rise to a global empire. And so, dear listeners, as we pause to reflect on this pivotal period in British history, we find ourselves at the threshold of a new era, one that will witness the consolidation of imperial power, the expansion of colonial territories, and the emergence of Britain as a dominant world power. Join me next time on History with Herodotus, as we venture forth into the 19th century, an age of unparalleled growth, transformation, and conflict, which would forever alter the trajectory of human civilization. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, as we continue our journey through the annals of time, unraveling the mysteries of the British Empire's rise and fall from global prominence. In our previous episodes, we explored the earliest stirrings of imperial ambition on the windswept shores of the British Isles and witnessed the emergence of a mighty empire, shaped by the interactions of monarchs, merchants, and explorers. As we delve into this final chapter in the saga of the British Empire, we find ourselves in the midst of the 20th century, an era marked by unparalleled global conflict, decolonization, and transformation. The aftermath of World War I saw the British Empire at its territorial zenith, with colonies and dominions spanning across a quarter of the world's land area and encompassing a fifth of its population. However, the seeds of decline had already been sown. The war effort had drained Britain's resources, and the country was struggling to maintain its imperial commitments. The rise of nationalist movements in India, Africa, and the Middle East posed significant challenges to British authority, as colonial subjects began to demand greater autonomy and eventually independence. One of the most significant events of this period was the granting of independence to India in 1947, marking a major milestone in the decline of the British Empire. The Indian subcontinent had been the crown jewel of Britain's colonial possessions, and its loss was a significant blow to British prestige and influence. The mid-20th century also saw the Suez Crisis of 1956, where Britain, France, and Israel launched a disastrous invasion of Egypt, which ultimately led to a humiliating withdrawal and marked a significant decline in British influence in the Middle East. The crisis highlighted the limitations of British power and the emergence of the United States as the dominant global superpower. As the 20th century progressed, Britain's colonial empire continued to shrink, with colonies gaining independence one by one. The Wind of Change speech delivered by Prime Minister Harold Macmillan in 1960 marked a significant turning point, as Britain began to acknowledge the inevitability of decolonization and the need to adapt to a changing world. The final decades of the 20th century saw Britain's remaining colonies gain independence, with Hong Kong being returned to China in 1997. The British Empire had officially come to an end, leaving behind a complex legacy of cultural exchange, economic development, and political transformation. As we reflect on the rise and fall of the British Empire, we are struck by the profound impact it has had on shaping the modern world. From the spread of language and culture to the establishment of global trade networks and institutions, Britain's imperial legacy continues to influence our world today. And so, dear listeners, as we conclude this epic journey through the annals of time, we find ourselves at the threshold of a new era, one marked by globalization, interdependence, and unprecedented challenges. The story of the British Empire serves as a reminder of the complexities and nuances of human history, where grand achievements and profound transformations are often accompanied by conflict, inequality, and uncertainty. Join me next time on History with Herodotus, as we explore new chapters in the saga of human civilization, delving into the intricacies of the past to better understand the complexities of our present and the uncertainties of our future. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.